Welcome! As you can see by the video title and thumbnail, this weekend I'm off to see the World Speed Chess Championship. This is a pretty big deal and something that I've never done before. I've never gone to any kind of sports or esports or anything sort of live setting, so this is going to be a novel experience in that regard, but I'm really excited for this weekend. I'm going to be going to a place in London, I think it's like on the Strand, and there's going to be like Magnus Carlsen, Hikaru Nakamura, Denis Lazavik and Alireza Firouzja all competing in very fast chess games that I would be scared to play myself. 5-1, 3-1 and 1-1 time formats. So that's basically going down to 1 minute games with a 1 second increment if you're not familiar with this. And if you are familiar with this, you know that these are some huge names and that there are going to be some other massive names there, not least of which Danny Rensch, and I probably imagine Aman Hambleton will be presenting. If not him, then maybe let's see, they had Gotham last year when they went to Paris to do this. Let me bring you up to speed if you're not familiar with this at all. This is a tournament that's not the the world championship generally for like the best chess player in the world. Although Magnus Carlsen will be there, but rather a side project that's been put together by chess.com, led by Danny Rensch, and is part of the circuit for the Esports World Cup. This is a really big event that happens every year and traditionally has always been online. Up until last year that was the case. Last year they decided to put it on in a live capacity in Paris and it went down like a storm. This year they're doing the same thing again in London. It's a different kind of chess event where people are encouraged to, not be so hush-hush as you would be traditionally when viewing chess or something like snooker or something. They actually encourage a bit more of a sports sort of environment. And this brings me nicely onto why I'm making this video in the first place. See, I'm not a guy you go to for like chess game analysis or prep theory or any of that other stuff that so many other people on YouTube can do so much better than I can. However, I noticed that while there were definitely a lot of people that went to the Paris event, I don't know if it was sold out or not, but I know that this London event is. I noticed that there were no sort of videos out there on YouTube that sort of documented people's experience of going to the venue, seeing, did they see anyone famous sort of go past them or whatever. There are different sort of tier lists of ticket prices, and in order to go to both days, we have opted for the cheapest option, which apparently still promises to be something of an event. Effectively, we're going to be in a bar or something, and there's going to be an independent sort of commentary from the one that's being live streamed happening. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know what the building is like. I've got no experience on ever going to anything like this. So that's entirely what the point of this video is. I want to document what it's like to go along to a live chess event, especially one that's only in its second year of existence in its current format. What the merch is like, what the venue's like, will I see any famous faces, will I get an opportunity, some of the the higher price tickets guarantee that you can get stuff signed, for example, or that you can meet and greet, whereas the lowest price ticket says that it's not guaranteed but may still happen. So effectively what I'm doing with this video is documenting what it's like to go on the lowest tier ticket to the Speed Chess Championship and what my experience is like, and hopefully find information for myself firsthand that I was looking for from others, and be able to pass it on to anyone who's planning on going next year and the year after and so forth. Like I say, I'm not going to get heavily into analysis or anything. I'm a lowly 1200 in both rapid and daily, and I don't even touch bullet. Occasionally I'll do a blitz game, but the idea of a bullet game gives me an embolism even to think about. So essentially that's the reason why I'm making this video. And if you want to just skip through to me talking a bit more about like the event and the chess players and stuff, then feel free to skip this next chapter, because I also want to use this part of the video for some real talk on something that I talk about occasionally but don't really address. I have been struggling from the time that I found out that I'm legally blind to come to terms with that labeling of myself. I make do, I get through my life. I'm not in any kind of like mental health struggle or anything with this, but in terms of identifying as such, it has been a real pain. That's just in terms of like in here, you know, privately, my own thoughts on how I see myself. And certainly I have not been ready yet, I feel, to identify with something publicly, and I struggle to identify with privately. But in the last few years, I have had a few accidents where I walk into people or people walk into me, not realizing just how much or how little I can actually see. And so this is where this comes in. For the first time ever, I'll be going to London with one of these, and as well as documenting the chess experience, I will also be getting used to this thing a little bit, sort of on the side. It is reckless of me, selfish, and frankly a bit of an arsehole thing to do for me to go to somewhere like London, somewhere as busy as that, and to walk around and expect to get about on public transport and such, and not at least signpost to other people around me that I'm going to be a hindrance. I don't know how to use this yet, and quite frankly, there's still a part of me that doesn't want to use it. I struggle with the whole identity of me being blind and stuff, because my upbringing as a working class person, as a Romany, as a guy in like a world of toxic masculinity, has always been really fundamentally placed on my ability to stand on my own 2 feet and do things for myself. And it feels like more and more I'm having to let go of all of that and rely on help from others. And it's really funny because this thing I've been putting off using, and I still need to get proper training for it, to be fair, but I've been putting off using it because it feels like I'm acknowledging publicly that I'm not independent in the way that I want to be. And yet I know cognitively, and from so many other people's experiences that I read about, that as soon as they started using a cane, it actually helped them feel even more independent. So I'm resenting using it for now, but I'm also hoping that I'll come to get used to it. I don't know. These next couple of days of me going around London, going to the Speed Chess Championship, it's going to be an eye-opening experience, so to speak. Now, getting back to the Speed Chess Championship, let's talk a little bit about the background of this. As I mentioned earlier, this was something set up by chess.com, probably under the lead of Danny Rensch. I don't know if he was yet the CEO of that website at the time when this first started, but historically it has been won by only 2 people. Hikaru Nakamura, who's won it the most times, and Magnus Carlsen, who won it, I think, the last 2 times and the first 2 times. So nearly half the time it's been won by Magnus Carlsen, widely regarded as the greatest player in the world. And this seems to be an uncontested fact. His rating is still so far ahead of everyone else. And he seems to hold the position of just being the greatest chess player in the world with relative ease, actually. Hikaru is someone who is nearly 40 and yet still is at the very top of his game. He had a bit of a dip, it feels like, last year, and he considered a future in which he was going to retire, and now he's just come back stronger in some regards, or at least come back with a second wind. Alireza Firouzja was there last year at the Speed Chess Championship, an up-and-coming talent in many regards. I think he plays for France, and originally his background is Iranian. I'd have to check that one. And then we got Denis Lazavik, who I think has a Russian background. I don't know too much about Denis Lazavik, I'm going to be honest. Last year, everyone's favourite bad boy in chess, Hans Niemann, was the 4th player, and that was really fun to watch. He is definitely someone who makes great content for other people no matter where he goes. He's just that kind of character. So he's going to be missed a bit this year, but I'm excited nonetheless. I'm going to see what this Denis Lazavik is like in a live capacity myself. So, here goes. Apologies for that glare. No matter where I put it, it seems that it's always going to be on my face as long as I'm sat at this desk. Anyway, on the way here, my wife saw some posts on the train for the SCC on chess.com, and we actually now have a list of the people who will be presenting it, effectively commentating, and I'll just turn you around and show you that. Basically, we've got Eric Hansen and Aman Hambleton, so that's both sides of Chessbar, GothamChess, Levy Rozman, Anna Rudolf, David Howell, of course he was going to be there, and of course Danny Rensch, because it's effectively his project as part of chess.com. And then there's this guy, John Sargent, I believe his name is. I'm not so familiar with him, but apparently he is someone who is more just the esports generally side of things. Of these, we know pretty confidently that Anna Rudolf and Gotham are going to be on stage. I imagine that David Howell is going to be in the building, which would mean there's 3 of us in the building for me, Spawn at the very least. I imagine Chessbar will probably be commentating remotely, and the other 2, John Sargent, Danny Rensch, they'll definitely be in the building. I know that both of them are in London. So that is where we are right now, and as soon as we're ready, we're going to head off to the venue and see what it's like.
We are sold out, we were told today. We can see the fan zone as well, hosted by Nemo up there, which is awesome. There's so many different areas of the venue as well for different ticket holders. Yeah, there you go. Hello, shout out to the fan zone. Hello, everyone. Yep. There you go.
At the moment that Dennis should really be afraid of, I guess, the opponent in front of him. But as Dennis has previously said in interviews, he loves playing online because those nerves, that psychology is not impactful when you play into the screen.
And it looks like the first victory of the match is coming for Denis Lazavik because the bishop has to give himself up. Denis wins by resignation 1-0. He's going to trade rooks. The h6 pawn drops. And now it's actually a reverse of game 1. Magnus is giving Denis a taste of his own medicine, and it was the clock that was his greatest asset.
So I just wanted to give some thoughts so far. It's actually been so much going on. Firstly, we were running late, as I mentioned earlier. It's been like sludge trying to get through London today. Just all the little things taking forever. And we were running late. We were waiting outside. Magnus Carlsen walked right past us. I thought, genuinely, this is where my brain went. I thought, surely he's in the building by now. So I didn't think it would be him. And I thought, oh, there's a Magnus Carlsen lookalike. And then people started saying, oh, it's Magnus Carlsen. By which point it was too late to get out my phone and film anything. I've been completely remiss to mention also that this is the Naroditsky Cup, named after Daniel Naroditsky, who died late last year. And so there was quite a somber element to that. And Robert Hess was actually one of the people here straight away, commentating the first half of the 5-1 section. And he was commentating next to an empty chair to represent the missing Daniel Naroditsky, who used to commentate most of these fast chess games. It was really kind of his niche. But yeah, the first game went to Denis Lazavik, who's Belarusian, not Russian. I got that wrong. Young guy. I didn't know much about him. 19 years old, doing very well for himself. As Eric Hansen described him, I think it was Eric Hansen that said this, he's kind of a up and coming in a sense, still. You can hear Nemo in the background. They're really making an event out of this. Also, it seems like chess.com have brought over all of their own staff. That's another thing I've noticed. And you can see from the footage that my wife's got of the room, this is a much bigger venue than I thought it was going to be. Honestly, I thought they were going to shove us in a little bar, kind of like when you watch a football game in a pub. That's genuinely the atmosphere I was expecting. But no, it's a big room, lots of chessboards all around the side, people playing chess left and right, different activities and stuff to get involved in. And there's a raffle as well. So they're really trying to drive home the point of making this a live event, not just the chess, but everything else around it as well. And it sounds like the 3-1 section for Magnus versus Denis is about to start soon. So I'll go and get back for that. Yeah, they're making a real event out of this. GothamChess rocked up on our left, and my wife was off getting me a coffee at the time, and I wasn't going to run over there. Everyone just legged it because he was doing photo opportunities. As soon as my wife came back, I was like, Gotham's over there, go get a photo with him. And she managed to do so. And he was really, really friendly, actually. She wanted her board signed, and he had like 10 minutes, and he apologized for it, but was super friendly to her otherwise. So yeah, so far today is going great. Tomorrow we're going to get here a lot earlier.
This has definitely been a mistake, an error from Magnus, but still, we're used to seeing him get to this position without a mistake before and turn it into a win. So let's see if he can do it here.
Yeah, there's a couple approaches. White runs the king over to the queen side to support that pawn, or something like this, where you get the king out, you get split past pawns and the king is out of position.
There's no way to capture b7 without the other pawn falling. Look at the breakthrough. Now you finally take on c5. You have to probably drop that rook back, and no, he allows rook c1. He's been beat so many times in this match in those endgames. Perhaps he's starting to lose some confidence here.
For sure, but by moving your knight from the best square on the board, you're conceding, and now the knight on e3 takes away d5, supports f5, and where's this knight going? You lost your best square, and so now white's up a pawn. White has better pieces, better rook, better knight, and has the tension. This is his chance. Rook e5.
This is going to be a masterpiece if we see this on the board. Ladies and gentlemen, this is rook takes on e5, played
queen
on
G5.
The board, and queen g5.
And there's also queen takes e5 after knight h5. If knight h5, queen e5, the rook spin, you're threatening queen h8 mate.
Is this Magnus getting punished? Queen e5 played. Magnus has missed that. The look of shock and almost admiration.
Yeah, he knows it. He knows it.
And there's the cheers from the crowd. Everyone can appreciate that.
If you move your queen now, you can force the queens off.
Yep, take bishop d5. And this looks like another really nice attacking game for Denis. He's going to get something done here. Queen e8, rook h8 is the checkmate, and rook g2 is just not enough. It's not the worst position. You got to go knight c1, knight d3 it looks like, but with c2 falling.
Oh, everything falls.
Yep.
Wow. Oh, bishop f2 check, and then bishop e3.
I think that could be it.
He sees it though. Like this is incredible. Oh, there we go. Queen e2 check coming. Win for Magnus.
Oh no! Something's happened.
Not tonight.
I just lost 20 seconds because it disconnected me. Like, do I get 20 seconds more, or what's the plan? I lost 20 seconds because it disconnected me.
It's happened again.
Hikaru's disconnected one more time.
I mean, if my time's running, I'm disconnected again.
Right, having another bit of a check-in while they sort out a technical difficulty on Hikaru's laptop. It's been a really fun night. I've actually had a chat with David Howell at one point, which was mad, and got a selfie with him. My wife had a photo with GothamChess with Levy Rozman. So the commentary team for this last bout of matches that we've just been watching, we've had photos of both of them, and there's just been like continuous sort of like raffles and sort of games going on outside of the chess as well. As I've already mentioned, the food is another thing. No, it's just like the service here, like the food and the drink. There's a lot of options for everyone, which is really cool. But also, like I mentioned staff earlier, I haven't seen this. The housekeeping is amazing. I know this feels like a nitpicky thing to say, but it's just like everything's kept at a high standard from beginning to end. So it doesn't even get crappy over time. Like everything has just been done at a very high level. I will say that, as I mentioned, I'm using this cane today. It's been quite funny. I gotta say, it's like every time I go anywhere and there's staff standing in that part of the building, they're running over to me like oh, just come this way, avoid this. It's like, okay, they don't realise what I'm looking at directly, I can see, but it's like, yeah, retinitis pigmentosa, man, it's a hard one to explain to people. My problem is my feet and people coming at me from the sides. Everything else I can see pretty clearly. So they see like my focused vision, and this looks redundant. I didn't mention this, but I said I was in the cheapest bracket. It's the silver tickets. That's what we've got. That's so that we could afford to go to both days. But you got the gold, the platinum, and the diamond going from, I think, £49 per ticket, I think it was, for our ones per day, per person, up to 1,500. And they give you completely different experiences. But even the experience at the £49 level is pretty good. So I recommend, like, if even you think, oh, it's going to be a crap experience unless I get the most expensive ticket, just go for what you can afford, and I'm sure you'll have a good time anyway. There were a lot of kids here earlier, and the hall that we're in the silver ticket area has thinned out considerably, and I reckon it's because so many people brought their kids, and the kids have just got tired and they thought, forget it, we'll go back to the hotel and watch the rest there. Like the adults, that is. That's the other thing, actually. We heard that there was 7 hours of chess, and we figured, oh, okay, that's going to run from 1 till 8. But with all the other stuff going on around it, we're not looking to finish here until 10 o'clock, and that's the same deal tomorrow. So there's a couple of really long days for that £49 that you're getting.
Wow, Hikaru's turned it around. Rook and pawn endgame. He's going to end up with at least 1 pawn up. 2 pawns up, potentially.
This is unfathomable, David. It's a winning endgame. He's just going to queen the pawn because the king is cut off. How did he do it? If Hikaru saves this game, there have to be police waiting for him at the end of the hall for theft. And he doesn't, and that's a fork, and that's Alireza winning.
It should be a draw now, but 1 second for Alireza.
Oh, he's queening! He's queening! Hikaru's winning! No, he's not! No, he's not! Rook C3!
Oh, everything's defended enough!
Oh, now you will never take.
The rook's just coming to C8. White's got maximum control. Hikaru's busted.
Oh, that's the KO punch.
Full board awareness. Trade off the rooks, and the black C-pawn's going to decide. Alireza's going to get a 4th win in a row.
Yeah, 4 wins is absolutely crazy.
You can start trading stuff even.
Yeah. Yeah, Hikaru's calming himself down. I was about to say, he has to lock in. He has to win this game.
Black is in Zugzwang, has to give way, go back.
But now what? Okay, it's still not over. It's over.
Yeah.
There it is.
Wow, what a way to end the portion, Levy. 8-8. This is where Alireza comes into his own when he doesn't have time to overthink, doesn't have time to really calculate. Those instincts, those supreme dynamic skills come into play.
And the A-pawn in the long run is going to be so problematic.
Oh, and he's getting all the rooks off. Now the A-pawn's more important than ever.
This is just over.
Keep the 2-pawn advantage. There we go.
Yep.
If rooks come off now, it's over. Still alive though, Hikaru. Great defender. Can he do it yet again?
You gotta go you gotta attack the pawns. It's the only way.
Oh. Oof. Yeah, that is a very professional move. He's just clinging on here. You can see body language. Hikaru knows he's done. That's classy as well, F3.
It's F3, very nice. But Hikaru's gonna play this out. Every second counts in this format.
And now he stretches out, lets his time run down.
He's gonna make one more move. Yep. They faked him out a little bit, huh?
Here we go.
No point resigning. You might as well. Every second counts. Alireza's pre-moving the entire game. Look at this. I love this. Hikaru's gonna run his time up and probably burn an entire other minute off the clock.
Yep, he's gonna wait. One move from checkmate.
Yep.
And here we go. 50 more seconds will be burned.
That is a lot of time. I was really hoping that this would be a type of match that I commentate on and it wouldn't be like last year. I couldn't be happier. It's like him. He's like rallying himself to make a move faster. I'm getting scared. He's freaking me out. And Alireza, meanwhile, is not freaked out at all. He's just trading off a pair of rooks, which they say actually you need to do to win a position like this. And Black's defenses are quickly under significant pressure. Alireza Firouzja is taking on G7.
He wins a pawn, but
That was wrong.
King H7 only move to get out.
Believable.
Crazy. Bishop to E5, just doing it in his own time. Taking his sweet time about it would have been the winning move, but okay, still a pawn up.
And Hikaru just escapes.
He dropped the G-pawn.
Now he's playing for a win because he has the knight and the bullet endgame.
It's been crazy and so close in the best of ways, knocking each other out in multiple games. The swings, we've barely seen any draws.
Hikaru's gonna stall this the whole match, basically.
Exactly. He needs to get out of this game fast, win the next one with white. Did you see Hikaru? He could have just taken back the queen instantly. He leant back, stretched. 97 wins the black knight,
And
double question mark.
Hikaru's not playing it. He's not playing it. He's stalling. He's slow rolling. There we go.
And now the resignation.
If he wins this game, it very well could already be over.
There we go, a capture. He's trying some last tricks, but that deep.
Ooh. Ooh.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Targets. He's got to move. That bishop needs to get out the way. Counterplay suddenly.
Alireza Firouzja is not looking to save this game. He's looking to maybe win it. This is unreal. And Hikaru's he's going to scroll up to check how many moves have been made.
Oh, he's counting.
There it is.
Alireza looks flustered. He knows.
The automatic function will kick in.
Here we go. Hikaru
And he's going to sit.
stops on move 49.
He is going to sit until he gets under 5 minutes. Firouzja feeling the heat. He has to win 2 games in 5 minutes against arguably the best bullet player in the world.
He has to keep the queens on to win quicker. Queen F8, what's that? Queen F8?
Queen F8 and E8 Queen, maybe.
Oh my god, Queen F8, that would be game changer. It's over, he loses his queen. Hikaru will get one last game to decide it all.
Whoa!
G3!
Whoa!
G3.
Alireza's thrown it!
Checkmate's coming, the white knight has to block, but now the pawn can just capture on F2 and the rook is lost.
Oh my goodness. Both guys so nervous there, David.
Check, check. The black king is in a mating net. Where's it going? There's a skewer.
That's it. What? That's wrong!
Wow.
No way! And this is easy. You push the pawn, you bring back... What?
Hikaru, he's blundered a check and the black pawn promotes. The black pawn promotes with a check.
Hikaru's figured out a defensive setup and Alireza doesn't quite know how to make progress here.
He's going to go around the other way with his king, but now the pawn is pushing and Hikaru's blundered his Zugzwang. He's going to lose his pawn.
Mini force clutch. Very clutch, actually. This looks very tough to play for black.
Queen trade would have helped white with the active pieces. Ooh,
Oh no! Oh no!
Hikaru loses his rook to a double attack. It's the match over. Alireza Firouzja takes it.
So I know I said I wasn't going to talk about any of the games in depth, and I still am not going to talk about any of the games in depth. But as I mentioned earlier, there was a game. It was basically the first, second, third. I don't know. It was very close to the beginning of the section with Firouzja versus Hikaru, and there were a bunch of technical difficulties. Basically, Hikaru's laptop kept disconnecting, and it took quite a while to sort out. Because of this, the games overall ended up running until like an hour later. Like it was gone 11 by the time we got out of there, and we were meant to be out of there at like 10. And because they had like the upstairs, I don't know what it was, if it was that they only had the upstairs booked until a certain time and they wanted to get staff in there to sort it out for the next day, or if Nemo was stopping for the night at a certain time, or anything else. But chess.com made a decision that those of us who were left, and there weren't many, those of us who were left were just instantly upgraded to go downstairs to like the actual players' lounge, like where the players were. And it was the 1 minute, 1 second increment section of Hikaru versus Firouzja. And oh my god, like if the rest of the games were exciting, it was nothing compared to this one. It literally was the most exciting speed chess I've ever seen. And it came down to the most tightest like photo finishes you could imagine. If you followed the speed chess at all this tournament that I'm talking about, then you already know. It was in the bag for Hikaru. That's how it looked. And there was never more than like a 2-game swing one way or the other. Both players had a 4-game streak at some point, and this is unheard of, quite frankly. It's usually so one-sided, especially by the time you get to the 1 minute 1 second section. And it went down to the last little bit. It was still very tight. Hikaru tried to play for a couple of draws right near the end, and Firouzja pulled it out the bag. It went into a sort of tie-break situation, and Firouzja just completely had Hikaru shook up. And from that, it just ended with very, very tight games until Hikaru blundered a piece, a rook, I think it was at the very end. Pretty sure it was, yeah. I think he just literally hung a rook. Like the most chaotic ending to the whole sort of day. And we've got another day of this tomorrow. Like it was such like there were points where I thought I was forgetting to breathe. Honestly, I wasn't expecting much from the silver tickets. I knew they were going to put us in a different room from the talent, so to speak. And I knew there was gonna be some kind of on-stage commentary in front of us. I thought we'd be in a much smaller sort of bar or something. I was picturing a sports bar decked out with sports stuff, with chess stuff, and it wasn't like that at all. It was like a big sort of function room in like posh London place. Like we're smack bang in the middle of Westminster here. The venue is the Strand, so it's real like up there in the Monopoly board. I wasn't expecting much from the silver ticket, and actually we had GothamChess come and see us, and my wife got a photo with him. I got a photo with David Howell. I got another photo with Eric Hansen, and I also got my wife's chessboard signed by Eric Hansen, and my wife got her chessboard signed by Nemo, and by David Howell as well, I think. Yeah, David Howell as well. She got it signed by, and at one point, Anna Rudolf just rocked up, and she is literally so sweet. Everyone was so sweet. It's one of those things. I don't know if it's because so many people respected how Daniel Naroditsky was as a friendly person, and they tried to really bring that side of themselves out in themselves, but everyone was just so humble and welcoming and kind and sweet. Eric Hansen, like he didn't need to, he just took some time out and like was talking to the kids about like anything they had questions for, like had so much time for them. Me and David Howell actually got into a bit of a conversation where I was just like, literally, because it was probably the first like celebrity of the night that I was talking to, I felt a little bit like starstruck almost, and I didn't really know what I was saying. So I apologize for that, David. But my wife, by the end of the night, she went up to speak to Anna Rudolf, and Anna Rudolf was complimenting her chess earrings. And it was just like one of those things where everyone is so down to earth and sweet. And yeah, I mean, no such treatment from like Hikaru, who was understandably upset, or Firouzja, who was just like, he signed a couple of kids' chessboards, but it was very quickly out of there. I guess it's been a long day for everyone, but that's the thing, it was been a long day for everyone. And even Nemo was like, she was there doing such a terrific job, by the way, of like presenting to everyone. And even she, like 10, half 10 at night or whatever it was, had so much time for everyone. At one point, my wife and I was like, let's go and play a game of chess at the side, only to realize that it's a Yoko Ono art piece and all of the pieces are white. So you've got to remember which pieces are your pieces. And it's one of those kind of like conceptual art things of like remembering which ones are you and which ones aren't. And like the world isn't so black and white and such. It's a very interesting piece. I forgot what it's called. But my wife did checkmate me. We did remember well enough, which I think says that we know chess well enough that we can recognize a position now. So there's that, I guess. But while we were playing this, like Nemo's playing on the board literally next to me as well. So it's just, I wasn't expecting to be rubbing shoulders with these really cool chess players and known chess players and celebrities in the chess world on like the cheapest ticket. And I think it's 49. My wife thinks it's 45. I'm not sure what it is, but bargain, an absolute bargain. And yeah, I'm so looking forward to tomorrow. Something we noticed yesterday was that when you're waiting in the gold line or the silver line, you get different fences. I'll show you what I mean. That's the gold line in the back with the ropes, and the silver line is just this metal fence. It's bare metal fence. I love how little of a difference it makes really once you're in there.
Player's down under 5 seconds, but it's a very easy position to play for Hikaru. Simple plan.
Yeah, you can't do anything about this. The e-pawn goes all the way up the board, and even h5, taking the time to play that move. Great technique.
He just has to find shelter for his king, then he can start pushing. Check.
Here come the checks.
Rook g7, there's f6.
That's
Maybe
right.
double the rooks.
Oh, this looks really bad. That's checkmated too.
What?
He's got his hands in the air. Something clearly on his screen he didn't like there. Immediately before he even flagged, I could see the hands in the air.
Same problem. Same problem.
Guys, he has the same problem.
I had plenty of time.
Hi, this is a familiar scene. Hikaru is having technical issues once again, and this is probably going to push the timescale of the day considerably, again, like it did yesterday. But the difference is that today we can't wait around till 11 o'clock, so we have to leave to catch a very particular train. Yeah, it was something that we didn't plan for. Like I mentioned already, the 7 advertised hours of chess that doesn't take into account all the stuff sort of going on around it. And if anything happens, like a technical difficulty, it really does ramp up. So that's a bit of advice I'd give to anyone coming to an event like this going forward, is don't just think that it's going to be as long as it says it's going to be for the games. You've got all this other stuff to worry about, and if a technical issue comes up, it's probably not worth planning, you know, oh, I've got to get back for a certain time or whatever. Book a second night in a hotel or a third night or wherever it is, you know, book an extra night. But yeah, it's going to be a long day again, I can already tell. And it's because, once again, Hikaru's computer is just not working.
D7, full infiltration here. And so far, Denis has done a really good job managing risk while taking bigger and bigger advantages.
Another Hikaru move, F5. It doesn't work when you take on F5.
Hikaru played rook E1. We actually noticed the knight goes back to E5. The point of knight C6 was to play knight D4.
He just blundered. Just blundered F4.
F4
the
is
back
checkmate.
rank.
Wrong. How do you defend?
Check. Preparing queen G4.
Oh my
it's
goodness.
mate. It's mate on H1. Oh, it's getting close to mate. Can you play D5, D6, try to play rook C8?
That might be good enough. The knight's going to be hanging on F5. That could be well calculated. Knight D6 as well.
D7 check. Where's the finish? He doesn't need it.
Oh,
he can
he's
just
just going to
stop
bring
the
the
pawns.
king in.
Yes.
Because the rook is...
Knight C6 is mate.
He believed Hikaru's bishop takes G6 ideas. Now I'm starting to believe them. You can take on G6 right now.
You lose a pawn and you still have weaknesses.
Hikaru's doing everything correct. Trades everywhere. Probably gonna... Oh, D4 doesn't even do it.
Knight F3. Has Hikaru blundered?
Time runs out. Oh my god. It doesn't count if time runs out. Oh, it doesn't count if time runs out. Oh my
Wait,
god.
Hikaru just allowed a perpetual?
It doesn't count. Time runs out anyway. Yeah.
What's going on here?
Oh my goodness.
What?
Yeah,
Hikaru just allowed a perpetual and he's saying it
What just
doesn't.
happened?
He's saying it doesn't count, time runs out. What's Hikaru talking about? He's played this format, right? Did he just forget?
I think in
Oh my
the
God.
moment,
The timer is done.
he may have convinced himself
That's the last
otherwise, but that absolutely would have counted. That was the pressure of the moment, but nevertheless.
Oh.
Uh-oh!
Bishop to F8, the blue arrow just appeared. Let me turn that arrow blue again. There we go. Bishop F8 is the winning move, Levy. He did panic. He walked into it and Magnus has found it. Of course Magnus did. He's about to win a second pawn. That is vital. That would have been a deadly pin. Now he can take a timeout, play a move like B3, or does he just continue jumping in with his knight maybe to D6?
Alireza has to win this game. Magnus loses on time!
What happened there? Should be 5s coming, rook E1. That knight is not surviving long.
Sack the rook, take, and that's it. 3 pieces for the queen, promoting pawn. We are 2-3 moves away from a resignation and a Magnus 2-game lead going to the 3+1.
Wow, all the pawns for black. He even wants a queen trade, but rook sacrificed back, Levy.
He sacrifices the rook! Bishop D4, queen D4, there's queen D8 incoming.
Wow, brilliant move there. The queens might come off, but on white's terms, queen C5 dodges. And we'll see that, queen check at the top of the board. He's gambling on a perpetual check, but is it? The black king's running. 2 extra bishops.
He's scrambling to the other side of the board. Oh, he trades the queen, and can he escape, David? Yes? No?
Who knows? Who knows? He's kept his bishop defended. The black queen holds the bishop and he's marching, but he's blundered his other bishop.
Oh, no. Oh, no, but now he has this.
He's trying to get the queens off, or will it be checkmate? If the checks dry up, black is winning.
Oh, Alireza needs this game, David.
He's keeping the B pawn alive. Without that pawn, it would be a draw, but now he's transitioned into a winning endgame.
This is a winning king and pawn endgame. Oh, no, it's not!
Now the black knight transports over to pick up the A3 pawn. This is just over. Maybe Alireza just resigns this game, moves on to the next one.
Yeah, this is the best game Magnus has played in quite some time.
The winning move. I think it just clears the path for the white king, and he misses it. That was not easy. Calculation was needed. But E5's there again, Levy, and it's getting more obvious now with the black king sidelined, away from the center. King F4 equally good. E5's coming. White's going to break through with an outside passed pawn.
I guess Alireza just saw E5, king D5 here, which is totally reasonable. It just looks like you're not breaking through. But all of a sudden, White is going to force an outside pass pawn.
Wow, this could be a gut-wrenching defeat for Alireza. What? Queen takes E4, Magnus has blundered a pawn. Game on.
But he's just got B5.
Rook A1.
Oh, Rook A1!
Magnus has blundered.
And it's over, Rook A8!
It's over immediately. Rook A8. You can pre-move it, almost. It is winning. Magnus blundering a back rank trick. Alireza's going to close the gap back to 2.
So this might be the last time I'm filming today, as it's been quite a long weekend and I'm starting to flag a little bit. But as things currently stand, we are heading into the very last section of Magnus versus Alireza. Magnus has a slight lead, and I reckon he's going to keep that, but history will tell. But I just wanted to close this section on some of the additional stuff that's happened throughout Sunday, throughout the second day of this whole thing. So Danny Rensch came out at one point, and I did speak to him quickly, and I wanted to just say like so much stuff about how this weekend has exceeded my expectations, and I was making this video, and what do you think of it and stuff, and basically a staff member was saying, no, you have to hurry. I was like, okay, fair enough. But Danny, if you're seeing this, then I'm very happy about that. Please let me know. You did say send it to chess.com. I don't know if it'll be of the caliber of that, but I will anyway, because I really am making this video for the purpose of putting out information that was out there in some like comments and stuff you'd find on Reddit and such, but not really in like such a collectivized form. So yeah, as I say, Danny Rensch came out and it was very quick. Denis Lazavik came out after beating Hikaru, which for me was quite sad. I'll be honest, I've been rooting for Hikaru all weekend, and he's just not played his best this weekend. And the way he went out to Denis Lazavik, considering it was very much a similar position he had against Denis Lazavik as Alireza had against him, it was disappointing that he went out in the way he did. But Denis Lazavik came out and he was really sweet, really took his time to talk to a lot of people. I get the impression, because he's quite young, so for him talking to a lot of people, it still feels like it's coming like not the most confidently. Honestly, I'm probably not much better. In fact, I'm definitely not any better, which is why I do videos instead of going up and talking to people. Yeah, he took his time with people and was more than happy to sign anything for people and have photos taken. It's just basically been a continuation of yesterday, same kind of treatment. Nemo doing a fantastic job of presenting and getting everyone involved. And it does look like tonight will end relatively in time, whether or not we are still around. As I mentioned earlier, we do need to get out of here to get a very particular train, and it was our fault because we didn't plan like what the 7 hours of chess content was going to look like around the additional stuff going on either side of it. But it does look like we might be seeing pretty much all of the games, despite Hikaru having yet another technical issue with his computer earlier. Nonetheless, it looks like it's going to be a Magnus win, at least from my perspective.
Winning advantage now for White, apparently. All the checks in the air. The Black Queen almost undefended, and all White needs is a rook on the 7th. He wins material.
Rook E7 is picking up at least a queen and maybe more, because that knight on A3 never escaped. Alireza, that was a disaster of a first game.
Oh, the rook has to go back. The king will go back. Magnus is happy with a draw. Firouzja, he should be getting out of this game now. What else is there to do? There we go. It's a draw.
There it is.
We move on.
G6 is coming, but now you give checks, and now the game is going to end in a draw.
Probably some more checks. Then you hit the F-pawn.
Ooh.
Okay, this is a good effective way as well. And Magnus has blundered!
Rook F5!
Magnus has blundered!
Rook F5! Oh my god, what's he done? What's he done? He's just losing this endgame. 2 pawns down, he would have been skewered there, and now Alireza has to gather his nerves and win this position.
Somehow there might be knight sacrifices in the air, followed by F3 breaking through, and oh, a blunder from Alireza. There's a knight sacrifice. It's going to be called a brilliancy, surely. There we go. The F-pawn, F for forward, F for force.
What? What is he? He's winning all his pawns!
Oh, A6, A4 there was even stronger. What's happening next? Where's the next twist? Where's the next turn?
He's finally got the... He's
on his bishop!
Oh, no!
Oh, and Magnus Carlsen's queenside. What a cool move.
Wait, Rook B5 just looks good. Or like...
The rook is trapped. You have to flog it. You have to give it away anyway.
And he does it. The rook, there we go. But then what? But then what?
The rook's coming. The rook, the knight as well.
D4, what a move!
Wow, brilliant move. Second sacrifice back to back. The rook is coming. The rook is going to check the white king, then pin the white queen. Magnus shaking his head, smiling because he knows he's been hit by a series of incredible moves.
Magnus desperately sacrificing everything, but he's going to go down here. He's just losing, David.
Yep, it's going to be a 2-game match. Alireza will have to win the next one in lightning fast time. This game goes on. Rook skewer. It's going to be game over. He wins the rook. Magnus fighting out to the bitter end. Queen on the board.
And this is important because Alireza won this game in about 4 minutes time, which means if it takes 4 minutes to beat Magnus in a game, every second counts. And that's why he's stalling. And that's why he's stalling out the clock. Don't boo Hikaru. You gotta boo everybody in that case.
He's going to be winning in a rook and pawn endgame. Knight g5 is a mistake, though, allowing a check.
As he blunders a check, Magnus finds it.
Well, that was it. That was the opportunity, surely. He's fought so well. He's fought so hard. He came so close. But tiny, tiny margins here. He's just lost a pawn, but this game is inconsequential. It was all about that last scramble.
Yep. Yes, it was. It's almost like we have to play this out in ceremonial fashion. I wonder if they will just agree to some sort of a draw. There is a little bit of prize money on the line. Time has expired. I almost wish we had a huge button and like a bunch of slime just... But the players will play it out. We do have an England gambit on the board. Oh, that was absolutely incredible.
Right, it's just gone midnight. I've just got back and I'm going to be up at 6 o'clock in the morning for work because I'm really bad at planning things, apparently. Not just me, my wife as well. We didn't think about how long this is going to take, and while I'm on that subject, I thought I would end this video with just a quick rundown of things to expect and not expect if you go along to any chess.com event going forward, especially the SCC. Do expect the matches to overrun somewhat. If anything technical comes up, like a technical difficulty, the matches are just going to overrun, and that is going to take up more time than you're expecting. Don't think that the matches are the only thing you're there for. There is so much other stuff going on, which again takes up more time and is a lot more fun as well. Like sometimes it's just someone coming in and talking for a bit. Eric Hansen coming in often felt a bit like a seminar almost. Different people coming in, it was more like fun and games type thing. But in any case, do expect a lot of other stuff to go on. Next, do feel free to go up and talk to any chess players, any like famous people that you know from the internet, from like chess.com or from YouTube or Twitch or whatever. Like, they are really up for chatting. I will say that as this is in its second year of a live chess final, that there's a good chance that some of the experience that we had, I don't know, like long term, if that will always be the case. Now, you know, we paid for the cheapest tier ticket, and effectively, you know, at times it felt like we were easily the next tier up with the amount of people we met, the photos we got, the signatures we received. Also going downstairs to see, like in live, in person, the very last section of Hikaru versus Firouzja. I think about this from the perspective of other things, and this would be like going to a football game, I feel like, and Gary Lineker shows up and starts having photos taken with everyone. Like literally everyone gets in a line and they honor that entire queue. I can't picture it really existing, but then I don't know, Danny Rensch wants to upscale it. Maybe that will impact this going forward, but I just don't see it happening. It's very down to earth and people are really friendly. Next, don't think that chess is not a sport. Okay, chess is a game. It's a board game when you get right down to it. So really, you know, it should be on the same lines as Monopoly or Scrabble, you would think. But it is so adrenaline inducing. It really, really is. There were parts of some of the games, both Hikaru games, where I just was like, oh, I haven't breathed in a while. Your heart is racing just watching it, and sometimes like you see a bar shoot up at the side of the screen and you go, you know, and it's visceral. It really does feel like a sport when you're watching it live. And I think the speed chess in championship in Paris proved this. The India versus USA thing, the exhibition that they did, proved this. There's a lot of stuff that's going on sort of organized by chess.com that proves this. Danny Rensch himself actually came out and said that he finds the classical side of chess much more meditative, and for him that's the more enjoyable part of chess. But when it comes down to chess as a sport, really it's the faster games and like these formats and the audience sort of participation, in as much as like making it a spectator sport where people can react loudly and cheer. Yeah, chess is definitely a sport. Do get involved with all the other things. I know I already talked about like the things on the stage and the things going on, like the events and stuff, but I mean like at the side there were a lot of little like competitions you could get involved in. Guess how many chess pieces were in a jar, for example, or like the art piece that we played on, the Yoko Ono thing where all of the pieces were white. Those kind of things, it's very cool. And if you're a bit more social than I am, then there's a good opportunity to meet people. Next on my don'ts, I'm going to say don't smile like Christopher Lloyd playing Uncle Fester when you do get a photo taken with some of these people like I did. I don't know what was happening here, okay? I was trying to do my like relaxed smile, like, you know, kind of like I do at the end of a lot of my videos kind of thing. But because I was buzzing so much, I think it was coming across as a bit like, and I looked really like crazy in the eyes, and it doesn't help that my eyes are somewhat more dilated. Do make the effort to go to this, even if you think I can't afford like the platinum or the diamond tickets and it seems like a huge expense. Even if you go to like the gold and the silver side of things, which were much more affordable, then you are going to have a pretty good experience. So don't be afraid to, like, you know, to just take the plunge and see what kind of experience you get. Like I say, I don't know what this will be like going forward, but I can't imagine it is going to be less of an experience over time. And you meet a lot of very helpful staff across the board. Some of the staff I think came from chess.com. Some of the staff I think came with the building, with Studio 180. Both teams, if that's the case, because I feel like they had different kind of vibe to them. So it's hard to say, but everyone was so bloody helpful. As I mentioned in this video, I actually walked around with a cane for part of this weekend and people were running over to me and asking me to, like, you know, do I need help getting into a lift or anything like that. So super helpful. I can't think of any more other sort of do's and don'ts really. Sort of closing thoughts on the whole thing. As we know, my prediction that Magnus was going to win came true, and it was going to hold his lead, and he did. I was very excited about that. I was very happy for that. Not that I dislike Firouzja or anything, you just don't want to see Magnus lose it suddenly. It's one of those constants in life that I think as a chess player you kind of hold on to. we need to know that some of the old guard like still kind of have it, you know, and are going to continue to have it for some time. But obviously, at some point, that is going to change. I don't feel like I'm ready for it to change yet. And I really want this year to be the year that Hikaru goes through and plays Gukesh. But we'll see. Time will only tell. Right, I'm going to sign off because it has been 2 very, very long days. And I'm sure there'll be plenty of other things that I think of between now and tomorrow. No, I'm going to be like, oh, I should have said this. If so, Maybe I'll put it in the comments, maybe I'll add it on in some other way, but I'm gonna wrap up this video because I need to get this edited and get this out there. I don't do a lot of chess stuff. I do some occasional chess stuff. I'm a gamer primarily and I play music, but as part of gaming, I do play chess on this channel very occasionally. And you know, like I say, I'm about 1200 and that fluctuates in terms of my actual performance ability, but nonetheless, I do still play chess somewhat, and I still play chess every day actually, but I still play chess sometimes on videos, so feel free to go check out those. If the rest of the channel seems interesting to you, like the gaming and music discussion and the Anglo-Romany stuff, then please do subscribe, and feel free to like the video, and until next time, have a good one.